welcome to our Pacific Good Morning Show. So good to have you guys back and viewing us again. Today, unfortunately, we don't have Pea. She is at another gig with our Bluwave team, but today we will be hosting with the main man himself, Ryan, our producer, and our guest of honor today, Lani. Alo, how are you today, Lani?
I'm good. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me this hour of the morning. Happy days. We're good.
That's a nice watch you have there. You want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I just want to shout out to Matauina Watch. Shout out to my Matauina Watch brothers, Asiata and Lorenzo and Martin's got one now. Eh?
Yes, he's got one too.
Let's go, team, gang.
My wrist. Just
I know.
Ryan's one is on the way. Right, yeah.
Here we go. And if they make a woman's one, hopefully, I'll get one too as well.
Let's go.
Yeah, but thank you so much, Lani. For those of you who don't know, but you should know, Lani Alo is a singer, songwriter, producer. You have a master's in music, right? Not yet. He's working towards his master's. And he is just a explosion of music and creativity. And we're so happy to have him on today to share some light on his journey and the things he's had to go through as a Samoan creative. But first, let's start how we usually start. And let's start with our morning quotes. So Lani, before we start the day, we like to share with our viewers a positive quote that'll help them get them through the day. So anything, that you feel like has changed your life or?
Yeah, actually, this is actually a new quote that a very close friend, shared with me very recently. I don't know if it's a morning quote, but it's definitely a quote to get you through the rough times, and it goes a little something like that. It's he said, whatever comes your way, always remain positive and remember what is true. And I know it sounds very simple, but yeah, whatever comes your way in life or whatever, always remain positive and remember what is true. And he shared that with me. It's a relationship-based quote.
Oh, yeah.
But I've come to in the past few weeks since he told me, I'm like trying to apply it to everything that I'm doing. It's like, remember what is true. Don't listen to the noise.
Absolutely.
They block out the noise and just double down and stay in your lane and do what you do. So that's my morning quote.
Thank you. No, thank you for sharing that. That's so true though. Like it's so easy to be brought down by a bad thought.
Yeah.
So like regardless, people have problems every day. It's just how we handle them.
Yeah.
So it's always good to stay positive and.
Yeah, and like when and I really resonate with that. Yeah. I go through life making so much assumptions about anything that can happen. Like overactive imaginations can do that. And like I just got to realize that that's just assumptions. That's all in my head.
Yeah.
You can take it as that's for a lot of things now when we start thinking about a scenario, we're like, oh my gosh, start stressing. It's like, bro, it's not a fact. It's not a fact of life yet. It's all in here. Just block it out. So like I said, it's a very simple wording. It's not like overly, but the spirit behind it is very true. Yeah.
100. So there you go, guys. Stay positive. Stay out of your head, and remember, there's a huge world out there. So stay positive. But yeah, let's move on to Ryan. Ryan, what's your positive quote for our viewers?
My positive quote is from one of my favorite movies, Star Wars, and it's by Luke Skywalker. No, strike me down in anger, and I'll always be with you, just like your father. This quote is about revenge, essentially. Because if someone wrongs you and all you're doing is thinking about how you're going to get them back, like they're just putting more weight on your own shoulders. And like in the context of the movie, if Luke had fallen to the dark side, like there was no way of saving him if he had struck down his father. So my quote is for the people that are dealing with issues of like people wronging them and then they want to go back. Like just let it go. Forgive. Don't have to forget, but forgive. Because when you forgive, you're releasing that weight off your own shoulders.
That's a hard one,
That's
eh?
hard. I was going to say, man.
I didn't want to go too deep. But
No, it's a tough one. Eh?
Best served in the microwave of evil.
I'm just thinking about
Megamind.
all the people that just want to give a nice big high five on the face to you.
On face.
But not because of your quote and because of Luke Skywalker. That's something. Nah, happy days.
I think we have Ryan's necktie and and there's cross somewhere in the office. No, but that's definitely a hard one. Like, especially when you've been wronged, you know, like something that's really hurt you.
Wrong day.
Yeah. You sound like you haven't experienced it.
wrong day. It's too early in the morning for this, guys. Trauma's coming out early morning. No.
I'm dude. No, yeah, but that's so true.
Yeah.
Don't, guys. Revenge is a waste of time. Revenge is God's. That's what I have to say about it. Do you have any last words to say about that?
So I just wanted to say it's quite I know that carrying that burden can obviously be a weight on your mind, but I feel like I've heard somewhere, and if I'm Pepelo, I'm sorry, I heard it in the grapevine, but it's aging, like it really ages you, like carrying that weight.
100%.
So if you want to stay young, stay pretty. Let the revenge go, man. Let it go.
Amen. All right, my quote today is from one of my favorite movies, one of actually our favorite movies, as we discussed, from Nacho Libre.
We did a lot of discussing.
We did.
A bit too much.
Yeah. And this quote is from Nacho Libre, and he wakes up and he says to the orphans, because he's in charge of an orphanage, he makes the food, for the orphanage. And he wakes up and he goes, my life is good, really good. I get to wake up every morning at 5 a.m., make some soup. It's the best. I love it. So
you can't go wrong. Great work on the accent.
Thank you. I've been practicing basically my whole life. But when Nacho Libre said this, you know, he had very minimal tasks. And what was the thing he was staying in? Was it
It's like a monastery.
Monastery. So he was staying in a monastery, and he was just in charge of making the food for the kids and the entire orphanage. And he stayed positive regardless of he wanted to be a wrestler, but he stayed humble and he told the kids, appreciate what you have, do the task that you need to do for the collective good, and just be grateful every morning that you get to wake up at 5 a.m. and make some soup.
He's the best.
The best.
Oh, that's so awesome. But thank you so much, everyone. We hope you enjoyed those positive words. You can start a conversation with someone at work who may be looking like they're not having the best morning. But we will be right back after this song.
Mataya o fallinga Patosina Oia Mataya ho fallinga Patosina Oia Vaetolo Semu, oia ita. Asusu mailela, Mataya o folinga, Vaetolo Semu, oia ita.
When the fantasy has ended and all the children are gone, something good inside me helped me to carry on. I ate some bugs, I ate some grass, I used my hand to wipe my tears, to kiss your mouth, break my vows. No, 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 no way, Jose. Unless you want to, then we'll break our vows together. Encarnacion, 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 Encarnacion.
They are ready for you now.
Welcome,
Welcome back. Good morning to all our wonderful viewers. And guess what? Bear's back. She just flew in from New Plymouth. She made it on time to be on our show. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm super, super excited to be here. But most importantly, as always, I'm always so starstruck when we see our superstar, the one and only Lani in the house. Yep, New Plymouth was great. We did go for our work. But, you know, unfortunately, my flight was slightly delayed. I know Hana and Daisy flew back early. And I had a few business stuff to deal with.
Let's get it.
Nice.
Let's get it. So we just finished our positive quotes, but we missed yours. So do you have a positive quote for us this morning?
Look, I'm not too I think I do have one, which is this morning for me is, if you're scared to do it scared. That's probably, fear has been probably the one thing that has robbed me for most of my life.
That's so true, right? Because people always, there's that mentality, wait for the right time.
Yeah.
There's never a right time.
Nah, there's never. Like, I'm,
Yeah.
Are we
like,
going to sing the song?
There's a right time to say goodbye.
Okay, sorry.
But we
it's all about the musical this
Had to
morning.
be done.
But honestly, if you're scared to do it scared. And I think sometimes we just have to do it. That fear will some way help you navigate through just those journeys. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you guys, I was so scared to do so many things that I'm doing. And now, I mean, I look back and I'm like, imagine if I hadn't let that fear stop me. You know, you could have do it scared. If you fail, you fail. But
Amen.
just do it scared. You never know.
Yeah.
Just never know. But yeah, that's my quote for this morning.
Fully resonate with
Yeah.
that. Yeah. I always said something similar to myself, but it's if you're anxious about doing something, do it anxiously.
Yeah.
Like, don't let it stop you. Just be nervous. Like, don't be afraid to look nervous. Like, not everyone's like super confident.
Yeah.
Just do it nervously.
And of course you'll get the comments from people who are like, oh, look, she doesn't even know what she's doing. You know,
Yeah.
like, oh, look, she's like, who cares about those people?
Yeah.
You have to do everything nervous. There's never, ever a right time. Honestly, if you feel like there's going to be a moment in time where you're going to be the best at whatever you want to be, it's never going to happen. You just have to catch the ball and run with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes it brings out the best in you. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like if you're too, in some situations when you're a bit too relaxed, you can drop the ball in some situations. But if you're kind of always like, okay, I'm aware, I'm like obviously being scared, being
Yeah.
nervous,
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
anxious, but yeah, afterwards you're like, yeah, that was actually, I've done that.
Yeah.
Happy
Oh,
days. Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah, nah, that's it for me, because I just thought that this morning, man, I'm always so scared, to do things. And man,
That's a good thing, because you're constantly putting yourself in situations where you're forced to grow.
yeah,
And that's a good place to be
yeah.
in.
But I think I just was scared and I just stopped. I'm not doing it because I'm scared. Now I'm like, I'm scared.
Let's go.
Oh, what? Let's just do it. What's the worst that can happen? But that's it. But it's so good to be here this morning. So good to see you, bro.
Likewise.
Always so good to see you.
Likewise.
Yeah.
What an awesome morning.
I really like your t-shirt there, bro.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's not even a line, but it's something I'm kind of working on in the background at the moment.
Salmon scarfy, right?
Salmon scarfy.
What does that mean? That's what I wanted to ask you.
All right, should we take 10 minutes on this? So for those who know, scarfy is a term that they give like the students down in Otago. Obviously being cold and always wearing, like back then, always wearing scarves and stuff. So they called them scarfies. And two things. I wanted to do something cool to remember, I'm far away. But to remember my time in Dunedin. But also as a big guy, so it can be really hard to find clothes sometimes, for us big guys. So shout out to all the big boys. So I thought, man, if I can't find it, I'll just make it myself. So So I'm currently working on obviously it's not a crazy design, but currently working on the design stuff at the moment, and hopefully source some stuff for the big boys as well.
Yeah.
But also for my Scarfy fam, I know I chucked the teaser on my story a couple of months ago, and everyone was like, when can we order? I was like, hold up. Yeah, it's coming. But, it is coming. So hopefully in the new year we'll be able to roll them out.
Oh, that's so exciting. I knew it. I got it right because I saw your t-shirt, the photo that I saw. I was like, Scarfy. I was like, it must have something to do with people down in Dunedin and how cold it is down there. Yeah. I'm not even in Dunedin, but I hate Auckland weather. Honestly, can't stand. She knows I'm always like, I hate this weather. I hate it here.
Just stay away from it.
Yeah, she just needs to stay in a nice, warm,
Like right
boxed
now.
up area.
the aircon is on full blast on heat. It's beautiful. But yes, so we look forward to that. We're definitely going to buy some shirts. But Lani is now, it's your 1 year anniversary moving up to Auckland.
Yeah,
let's give him a round of applause.
I know.
1 year anniversary.
Auckland's not that bad, Hana. Stop scaring
all right.
him.
No,
It's all right.
Yeah. So welcome back.
Thank you.
You're 1 year back. And how has it been for you?
Yeah, it's been an interesting ride. I came back for family reasons. So I've been kind of taking care of my parents for the past year and doing my music thing on the side as well. It's been a good journey, a great journey at times, but it's been, I don't know how to describe it. It's been good.
Yeah.
It's been good. Yeah, it's been a journey. Obviously, speed bumps along the way and certain things that just make me want to get, okay, I'm leaving, but going back. But no, it's been good. And I know people are probably wondering, what's so big about moving back to, But for those, if you know, for those who know me, I've been in Dunedin for the past, I moved down in 2012. Moved down in 2012 for study. And I went down there and I studied and I made it my home. I really made it my home, and you'll see in my music videos that I'm a big, I'm trying to wave the flag, for my people in Dunedin, and so it's a special place to me. So to move back after that time period, and a really key time period for myself as well. Obviously, growing as an adult, learning how to adult.
Yeah.
How to pay bills and stuff like that. It's huge.
Yeah.
So coming back to Auckland, which is home for me, where I was born and bred, and having to adjust to that life, moving back in with mum and dad, and then being 10 o'clock and where are you? Hold up.
I'm going back. I'm going back to Dunedin.
Silence. But yeah, adjusting to those things has been interesting.
Yeah.
On the family front and the personal front, but also as a creative.
Yeah. That's so buzzy because for those of you who don't know, Lani has been there for like nearly 10 years in Dunedin. He was in Dunedin for 10 years. And also he went school with Ryan. Ryan was in Dunedin.
Oh, that's
Scuffy's in the house,
Yeah.
man. Let's go.
Which is awesome. So we're getting this, Dunedin experience.
Yeah, getting this cold breeze this morning.
It's chilly in
This
here.
is like chilly in here.
So they both attended Otago University.
But 10 years is a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, even I don't. I'm so masangi to being in the Auckland environment. I don't think I would be able to adjust well had I moved out. But 10 years and then to come back, I feel like, man, you're so independent in Dunedin, right?
Yeah, hard.
And now do you feel like that part of that independence has been stripped off you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you encourage other people to do that? Like spend some time away from their home?
Yeah, definitely, because like you obviously coming back home there's a shift in the independence.
Yeah.
But being away, you know how to manage that. You know what I mean? So you've learned the lessons, you know how to manage that. Yeah, it's definitely like like I said, like I'll go, like if I'm at a gig somewhere, like my parents will know that I'm at a gig.
Yeah.
And, I might stay after and, have a few drinks and stuff. And as soon as it hits like 11 or 12, my phone will start ringing. Because my parents are elderly, they're getting into their elderly years, and they're always like your typical Samoan parents, like, makele momoe se vangawa ko woman fale. So if I get home at like 4 in, I know my dad's gonna be like up waiting, and so.
Are you serious?
Yeah, man. Like those were my parents. Like they weren't like strict, but they were strict in that sense that if we weren't all home sound asleep, like they wouldn't sleep. So there've been like there've been nights when I've gone out, the boys, man, and I just constantly kapea the kid fongi.
Right.
I get home at like 5, and my parents are like,
just waiting at the door.
and then, and it's not even like the growlings anymore. Like there's no growlings, just like, go to sleep. I'm like, okay. But and this is so to come home to that, like it's not a bad thing. It can be a bad thing sometimes, but like I'm grateful. I always tell myself like when I don't have that, when it comes time when my parents do pass on and I don't have that, I'm gonna miss that. So
exactly.
You know what I mean? So that's why I'm gonna be like, okay, I can deal with it. Like, but sometimes it's like, Mom, no!
It's a huge change coming from like the freedom and the kind of independence that you had in Otago. I had a similar situation.
Yeah, man.
Coming back from that and like being able to exposing myself here, but being able to stay out till 3 a.m. at Macca's, like and not have someone at home
like waiting on you,
expecting you to come back, like, and then you come back here, and then it's all of a sudden it's not stripped away from you, but it's like you have people that are waiting on you, that are looking out for you, and that's nice as well.
And I feel like it's like obviously the cities are different. Like you come up here and you got ram raids, you got like especially out west, like there's a lot of violence.
It's gone so worse.
Yeah, and so that doesn't help. Like if I'm like if we leave somewhere, my parents are always like, hey, sorry, maybe captions after this one. And I'm like, I'm going to the dairy, like I'm going to the shop. Like,
no, but let me tell you what, like there was someone who posted on the Mangile 275 community notice board, and a mum was driving home from Orley Avenue. This is where Pack and Save is in Mangere. Yeah. And then a van followed her with tinted windows with boys as young as 14. And then they followed her to a house, and then once she opened the door, the sliding door opened and these kids came out, and then lucky she saw them, she closed the door.
Oh, I saw everything.
Yeah, and they were like trying to break the window. So the mom beeped the horn literally in front of her home, and the kids ran out, and then that's when the van left.
Wow.
So your mom saying you might get stabbed at the dairy, it might happen. Like it's gone worse.
So that all of these things come into play, and it doesn't help. Like because my parents watch the news always, and they're always very like the popole, and I was like, I don't know if I'm just being naive, and I'm just like, don't worry, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know. But
Mind you, my mum's like that too.
Yeah, I
When she
think-
hears a siren, she rings all her kids.
yeah,
My sister's just like, where are you? Are you home?
I think that's common. All our parents. I mean, even when and I'm like, did they give you the location? Because it was Hamilton. And then Auckland, Mum. He's, yeah, kere loa, you know.
You never know.
And
Oh,
I'm like,
gosh.
okay, Mum. But in saying that, you know, it must also give you that, I have Mum and Dad.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone, I feel like there's, everyone likes to come home to someone.
Yeah.
Whether that's your partner or whether that's your wife or your husband or your parents, you know, or your kids. Like, I feel like everyone at some point in their life loves the thought of coming home to someone. And so, yeah, that's the bonus in all of this is it's not the independence that, you know, we're so used to. But, man, I know that I'll come home and I won't be alone. Like, like, I'm not coming home to an empty house.
Yeah.
Cold, empty room.
Yeah, I'm not going to a Māori flat or anything. Feeling triggered about the
Scarfies.
yeah.
Well, welcome back to Auckland. I know
Thank
you've been
you.
here for 1 year, and also Ryan as well. Time to let go of the independent life, eh? But since, like, what are some of the you know, now that you're back here in Auckland, you're still carrying on your career as a musician, a producer, and those things. What are some of the differences you've been noticing being a musician in Dunedin and being a musician in Auckland?
I guess the isolation in Dunedin is non-existent here. Like, we always, and again, I have to mention this. When I say we, like, in terms of my career, like, it's always myself and Livy, because
Right.
shout out to those who Livy, because we always, you know, do our stuff together. So when we're working on music and everything down there, we always feel the isolation of, because we have to fly up to Auckland to record our songs, because our producer's based here. So now that I'm here, it's like, oh man, I can just call him up and be like, are you free tomorrow? Like, you know, accessibility is definitely a cool thing. What else? Yeah, just trying to adjusting to the accessibility, because it's like, cool. I can go see my producer. I can, you know, if I want to collab with someone, pretty much everyone's here.
Yeah.
And that's cool, but then it's also like, the energy to, you know, the energy to go and do the meet and greets and the
Quite fast-paced, eh?
yeah, like the
Exhausting.
very exhausting, especially coming from a place like Dunedin. Like, if you're like an exhausting day in Dunedin is like.
Tell us something. I want to hear this.
No, like if you're exhausted in Dunedin, that's like chill here. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that puts into perspective how chill the pace is and the vibe is in Dunedin. Like, whatever you're doing. So having to adjust to that, and reconnecting and but again, I think that's the big thing is the pace, adjusting to the pace. And how to manage the accessibility of Auckland, because it can really get overwhelming. Like, you know, all these services that you can connect to is like mean. And then, like, okay, I'll connect here. And then after a while, it just like, it really burns you out, eh? So that I'm grateful for even though isolated in Dunedin was a thing, being isolated down there, it was the pace. For me, it was the right pace that I could manage my career and not get too overwhelmed. Yeah.
And living in Dunedin really makes you realize how big Auckland is. Like literally 30-minute walk across town.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Or like a drive is 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes.
Straight up.
Whereas Auckland, to get to one part of Auckland to the other is an hour drive.
Yeah, like
with
a busy, again, like comparison, like a busy day, like peak hour traffic in Dunedin is like flowing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's the comparison. It's funny, but it's true. So it's, I remember, like, I was just thinking, when you were talking about that, I was thinking, like, in my first years, like, my first year in Dunedin, like, we used to, I don't do it now, obviously, but we used to be able to, like, run to town. No lies, like, you know, up here, you don't have to worry about, like, Ubers and stuff, like, you know, you know, have a few, maybe more than a few, and then let's go to town. Like, okay, let's go. You know, I can't do it now, but maybe soon. But you know, that was the reality. Like, you can run to town, have a good night, you know, run back home, grab some Maccas, and you'll be home within 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, easy.
Up here, it's like, oh man, gotta get ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't even walk anywhere in Auckland. Like, I'm too lazy. I just drive everywhere. But I can definitely see the differences you're talking about in regards to. I don't want to call us. Would you call Dunedin a small town?
It's definitely bigger than a small town.
Yeah.
But in terms of city size, like Auckland,
compared
trumps.
to.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to call Dunedin a small town, but we're definitely seeing the differences here, eh? So what's it like being burnt out in Auckland?
It's different. You know, down there you can. There's certain outlets that you can, you know, whether it's, you know, I don't know, Ryan, if you remember, but you know, behind like the stadium, there's like the marina, like the lookout and stuff. Yeah, like. And I know you can do that up here, but it's just, again, the pace is different. Like, when you're stressed, like, it's easy to manage that down there. Up here, no matter where you are, like, I always tell, when people ask, I'm like, even when you're sitting at home, like, you could be doing absolutely nothing, but your mind is just, okay, what's next, what do I have to do? It's totally, you're constantly racing in.
Yeah.
I physically feel the change when I go to Dunedin, like,
right.
Which is what I try and, like, for those who know, I try and go like every couple of months. And people are like, I thought you were in Auckland. It's like, no, I'm just going down because I can physically feel the shift, and and I know, like, my body and my spirit needs that every now and then.
But it's awesome that you've mentioned that, because I think a lot of us, I recently, probably a few weeks ago, it was a spontaneous roadie with my family, and I came back and I explained to the team, I switched off. You know, I really, really did switch off. And I mean, the industry is similar, but I know that the music industry is very, very, that's a whole different culture itself. And I've seen it. I mean, I'm not part of it, but I've seen it, you know, as a promoter. You know, I've seen like how immersed you guys are into this, and if you don't remove yourself from a place like Auckland, I totally agree with you, man. It doesn't matter where you're sitting, you're enjoying a peaceful day at home, it's still
in your mind.
It's like, it's such a heavy feeling. And as soon as I removed myself, we went to a place called Braxton. Honestly, it was so crisp in the morning. Like, I just felt this. I was light. You know, my phone, hardly on my phone, apart from showing off and pressing, I'm in Braxton. But you know, I totally agree with you, man. Like, you just sometimes have to remove yourself from Auckland, because it's...
Yeah, I think I need to do that, because I've lived in Auckland my whole life. So I'm kind of used to how to me this is fast-paced, and then when I meet people from Australia, they're like, you think Auckland's fast-paced? You come to Sydney, Sydney's fast-paced, and it's just this ongoing train of who's more fast-paced. But Auckland is like, nah, man, I'd call it fast-paced. Like, it's, you want to go home and you don't want to think about anything, you know, you just want to spend time with your kids, but you constantly find yourself so consumed in work, information on social media, even TV, the environments we put ourselves in, and like, just what Pea was saying about the creative scene, like how hard it is. How has it been in your journey in Auckland?
It's been up and down, eh? Like, I've loved coming home and the accessibility to a lot of people and a lot of networks and that kind of thing. But sorry,
like, I'll be more specific on that question, because I know I'd already asked it. Like, in regards to doing business with Auckland as compared to doing business within music with people in Dunedin.
The practices are very different. I mean, and it's, I have to say this, like, as a disclaimer. I love Auckland. Like, Auckland is home. Like, so a lot of this, I'm in this phase of obviously moving back, and there's always, like, I'm always comparing. You know, so. Do you think I hate Auckland? Like, I love it. You know, hate it, love it. You know, a lot of the business practices have been like 50-50. Like, dealing with certain clients. Some clients are very on par, like, which I love. I love, like, on the books, like, just do it the right way. And then some clients, or some people just like...
Some cultures.
Yeah, some, just those...
nationalities.
Yeah, having to deal with... You're right, having to deal with that. I wouldn't go as far as to call it shady, but it's just not my kind of... It's not how I like to operate.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to... I've had to just kind of swallow it and go with it. Because at the same time, like, I'm taking care of my parents, I'm doing my best to. So, sometimes when the work ethic side of things and the practices conflict with who I am, can be really tough. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not doing any dodgy gigs or anything. Guy playing for, but just like certain things, like basic things, like dealing with tax and some people don't want to take tax into account. Right. So dealing, Whereas in Dunedin, I was lucky to do work with the university and do a lot of like corporate clients. And so I learned a lot of those practices down there, and I was like, this is the norm. Well, it should be the norm, and it is the norm for a lot of people. But coming up here, it's not the norm for a lot of people.
And like
that can be frustrating.
Yeah, it sounds like it can be frustrating because like I'm gonna be a bit more specific here. I'm not saying this is Lani's situation, but like I'm not also a musician, but like I do it like part time because I love to do it. But like sometimes I perform for gigs, like for example, what you were saying, and then there's a process. You send in the invoice, they send you back the invoice, and then sometimes they ask you to perform, and then they're like, don't even look at your invoice, but they're like, yeah, look, you'll see that it's like not even half of what you said it would cost, but they promised that it would happen. So it's practices like that, and I'm not like shading the organizations or stuff like that. It's just like, how do you deal with that? Like how do you deal with that? Like,
and within business, yes, of course. But I think there's so many factors that you kind of have to sit there and take into account, and then it's like, do you do what's right, or do you do, or like, I mean, I get it. We get it all the time in business, which is the music industry is totally different. But at the same time, man, like for music, the music industry, you can take Lani to America and then they'll pay his worth. And then in New Zealand, you probably won't even be able to get like that worth. It's like you're trying to establish yourself as a musician or as a business, but then you have some people, not everyone is like this, but then you have some people like, and I'm like, mate, divide that. Part, and it's frustrating. So I know, but for music as well, because man, I find that it's where your passion lies. That's where it gets kind of a little bit messy. It's like, okay, I'm passionate about this. Okay, I'll let it go. Well, to be honest, I reckon I say no more. Like I really think, like Therese said, man, like if let them pay for the talent, because somebody else, they'll pay for someone else who's got half the talent. I've seen some organizations who pay 5,000, and when I look at the work and I'm like, that was 5,000. I could have produced that and more. But it's
like half the budget.
For half, no, not half, but maybe like 50 cents discount. But it must be frustrating for you, because I know I have to deal with it with the business side, but musicians, it's a lot harder because
I reckon, because it's like your full-time thing, right? It's like
like,
this is your bread and butter.
It is, and a lot of people don't tend to understand that, which is, I mean, not everyone's gonna get it, but it's frustrating, because what was I gonna say? I don't mind blank. It's frustrating. So that on a surface level is frustrating, but then for someone like me who's and I'm not ashamed to I'm not ashamed, but I'm not afraid to say this. Like, I know that my place within the music industry, amongst others, like I consider myself still very up and coming. Not up and coming, but you know, I've still got a lot to do, to work on, and I understand that, but I know that I've come from a place of a lot of learnings and a lot of experience, and I bring that with me. So when I bring that with me and like people don't get it, like, or people don't see that, like, it's really frustrating to have to try and prove that. Like, and,
I think you're being very humble, Lani. Let's take away the humble card from this because you have a lot of experience and the work that you put into this. But if someone comes up to you, I don't know if you've had this situation before, but I'm sure a lot of musicians do, and then you give them your rate and they're like, oh, you're not worth that much. How do you deal with that?
Seriously, I'm lucky I haven't had that exact thing, but I remember, actually this didn't even happen in Auckland, but like side story, I done a gig for a real estate company in Dunedin, I won't name, but I done like, it was a full day gig thing, and I sent them the invoice and they're like, oh, that's a bit more than we expected. I was like, well, what were you expecting? You took me for a whole day, like, you know what I mean? Like they just, it was legit. Like, I whistled in the morning, got back at like 6 at night, spent the day with them and played for their lunch and stuff. But when I sent them the invoice, which probably wasn't even half of what I should have charged, but I was new at the time, they're like, oh wow, that's a bit much. I was like, a bit much. So how I dealt with that was because it was Christmas time, and I was like, look, I took like $100 off the rate. I was like, pay it, like that's my amendment.
Yeah.
Let me know if you wanna, because you know you always have to stay flexible regardless of the situation.
Right.
And then they paid me, but I was like, man, like that was such an experience. Like, why should I have to lay out, like, common sense? People lack common sense in these situations.
Exactly.
Which is really frustrating as an artist, any kind of artist, whether you're in media or music or whatever. Like, you know, you're like, I'll play for 6 hours. Or, you know, even the worst gigs are like, I'll come in and play for like 10 minutes, you know, and it might just be one song. And then you send them, it was like, oh, but you only played for 10 minutes. Like, bro, like, so I'm like, what, you're going to just give me $30 and then, you know, like you know.
You think I want to waste my time coming in and preparing?
Like gas and gas prices are not nice right now. They're not nice. But, you know, trying to manage those, and it's not a new thing. Like, it's not a new thing. I have to say that because our artists have been grinding like that for years, you know. But the fact that we are so advanced in our craft after all these years, like today, and we still have to deal with that. I feel like.
What do you think it is, though? Like, I mean, you know, I do not think you're up and coming. I think you've done extremely well. I mean, you know, to have your music played, you know, on air and to win awards. That's not up and coming. You've really made yourself, you know, a household name. You know, especially for our Samoan community, and my children love your music, you know. But you know, going back to like all of our artists, you know, we've experienced, and I don't like to bring the story up because I don't know much about the backstory. I mean, I've read about it, but I you know, I haven't experienced it. But you know, the whole Dawn Raid thing, you know, we've seen artists go through all of that, and we've seen all of the artists destroyed in the process for that type of stuff in the industry. But why do you think, you know, in 2022 that we're still experiencing it? Do you think it's the people at the top, middle? What in your experience, what do you think it is? And how can we stop it?
I just think there's just been a historic, like, underappreciation of the arts. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I said, it's not just us. Like, it's the dancers, it's the itinerant teachers, like, you know, it's everyone across the board, and it's not a specific too, you know, like it's. And
I think maybe Auckland or like New Zealand, other parts of New Zealand are like broke, because I know in other countries, Australia, they're willing to throw down 5 to 10K for a performance.
Yeah.
But it's in Auckland, we're always trying to cheapskate our way.
Trying to
Yeah,
hustle.
it's
Yeah.
Trying to hustle.
yeah, trying to hustle our way. So it might just be like a experience.
Or just
New
a
Zealand.
culture thing.
Yeah.
I think, like definitely, like, I can't even believe I'm saying this, but like the economy comes into play. Like, you know what I mean? Like there was a time in Dunedin where, you know, bands, local pubs weren't paying for bands. There was just no money in it. Like they couldn't pay, you know, if you paid a band, you'd be looking at paying them like $500. If it's a 4-piece band, you're lucky, you know, you walk out over like 120 something.
Yeah.
For a student is sicky, but you know, if we're really paying for their worth as a band, if they're like professionals, like it'd be hard to be like, yeah, I'll walk out with $100 after a 3, 4, 5 hour gig on a weekend. Like, you know, there's a lot of things that come into play. So, but definitely like the state of like money in general is obviously a thing, but people's attitudes towards paying for, and I know there's like a post, good old Instagram or some quote online where, you know, imagine what things would be like if you didn't have music at rugby stadiums, if you didn't have like a band at your wedding, like what would that, how do you,
boring.
What would the world be
stink,
like?
you know, so let's, how would you value that then, you know, and so I feel like 2022, it's just, it's still like a continuation of those old attitudes towards the arts. But at the same time, I feel like the generation that is coming through, know their worth and know their value, which I think is awesome. And I think we need to keep reminding ourselves and those who are obviously coming behind us, but even those who are already established, like, let's work hard to realize our value, because for some, it's your bread and butter.
Yeah.
You know, for others, it's just like, I'm just putting
Side
it
hustle.
into investments and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and that's all great. But, a lot of our, especially for us, Pasifika artists, like, this is paying the rent. I know it's paying my rent. It's definitely paying my rent. But, you know, this is like feeding my kids. I don't have kids, but
The ones in the need.
It is really important, though, that the Pacific creatives across the board know their value. Because when you have Pacific creatives who do undercut themselves, who do undercharge, that sits in the mind of the people who hire them that, that's how much it's worth. Okay, then I'll go to someone that has a bit more prestige in their career and then charge them the same amount because of like a previous experience.
I agree. But do you think there's anyone in the industry or someone that, you know, that can help, you know, kind of eliminate that part of it? Because I know that even in the decor industry, I've tried to collaborate with other decors where I always we go off one price. So what we do is we go to the top, one of the top decors, and we say, look, we're going to run our prices that's alongside yours similar, so that if anyone does jump from one to another, they can't undercut us. And that even though that they're going to go between us, they're going to be like, they're same price across. None of us are going to get ripped off. And that's why I'm just thinking, is there anything or anyone in the music industry that can kind of like eliminate that, so that when I come to you, Lani's $5,000. Okay. This person's 5,000. Well, but they're only playing for 10 minutes. And you go, that's what it's worth. Or try this person. They're 5,000. And that way that you're going through these artists, you know, these well-known artists, and you're not, you know, they're paying or something similar. Because we all know that different artists are going to be different, or they're in a different kind of space. But I really, really think that the promoters also need to play that role as well, not just to put up a gig, you know, like really educate our people that, man, it's not I'm telling you, because I've done small gigs, very, very small gigs compared to, you know, for music and stuff. And it's not easy, man. It's not easy pushing those tickets out. So, maybe that's something.
I totally feel you. I don't know what the answer to that question is.
Do you know what I think you guys should do? Is like create a union, because I understand that like artists are valued differently. So you can't you probably can't, like, what Pea was saying was do something similar, but in regards to support. But like, you can't really give a price tag for all of you artists because you guys have different, you value yourselves in different ways. But you guys should like create a union or something, bro. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it would be.
is there a union?
I actually don't know. I know that there are services that are like out there currently in place, like set up by the New Zealand music industry to support artists, and I feel like for this situation, like managerial stuff comes into play. Like if you've, because we know what it's like to have awkward conversations about, oh, this is how much I charge.
Yeah.
Pretend to be someone else. Change your name.
Well, yeah, I've tried it once. It's weird, eh? Like it's really weird, but
You try to
yeah,
keep doing it. You're
trying to
used to
once.
it. I do that all the time. Sorry, this is Sina from Vaetolo Celebration. They're like, oh, Sina goes, oh, I'm new to the team. But that's what it costs. Oh, I didn't know there was a Sina in your team. Oh, yeah, she just works from home.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, that's
Works
me.
remotely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like having someone to advocate for you is a big thing. Like a lot of our artists obviously have managers.
Yeah.
Finding a good one, eh?
Yeah, finding a good manager that
Honest.
really is honest and understands you, and not only as an artist but as a person. You know, I feel like if you can get that, then you'll be sorted. Like I'm still self-managed, still trying to find myself, and but I think I'm close. I feel like I'm close to finding someone. There's just a few things.
Did you get my application?
Oh, yeah, I got your email. Obviously.
But thank you so much, Lani, for sharing this wealth of knowledge. There's so much to dissect in this. Like, I feel like the viewers will be like, they'll kind of get an understanding of what it's like. But I just have a few more questions, but we're just going to go into a music break and we'll be right back.
Let's go.
Good morning.
And it really hurts.
good morning and welcome back to your Pacific Morning Show here on BlueTV. This morning we've had an awesome conversation with Lani, and we wanted to continue the conversation and dissect it. But unfortunately, when it comes to time, it's like, come on, Bea, get to the point. But look, we're going to cross over to Lani and say, Lani, we know that you've given so much of your time and energy. You've won these big awards. Your music is not just well known in New Zealand. It's all around the world, And one song in particular has been the song that's been able to get so many through COVID. And it's been number one for a long time. We know that creatives in our Pasifika community, they struggle, and you've also admitted that there's been some frustration in certain parts. What are some of your top key advice that you can give to our creatives today, this morning?
Thank you for the question and the opportunity. I think these are what I'm sharing, and these are a lot of my own learnings. I guess number one is to just remind yourself to be patient, but be strategic at the same time. I'm a big believer in its time, things will happen. Don't rush. Don't be like. Don't get. Oh my gosh, that's popping, so we need to jump on. Just trust the process. Be patient and be strategic about what you're doing, because when your stuff does land, whatever it may be, whether it's music or your art or whatever, it's going to land where it needs to land, you know? And that's something that I really believe in, patience and strategy. I guess the second thing is, surround yourself with... don't surround yourself with yes people. Don't surround yourself with yes men, because you're never going to get anywhere. I've seen it with my own eyes, and I've experienced it a little bit in my upbringing. But surround yourself with people who are going to hit you up on making sure that you're the best version of yourself.
Right.
Whether it's an artist or yourself as an artist or a person, you need that. Because you're never going to get anywhere with yes. And it actually might make a fool of you at some point.
So people who do things more than, they're doers, is that what you mean?
Yeah. And just people who you can trust and... to be oos, or just hold up, nah, don't do that.
Okay.
And who are courageous enough to be you know what I mean?
So you can give
honest.
you good feedback and honest feedback, right?
I've literally seen, very recently, I've seen the effects of what yes men can do to someone, and it's not nice.
Yeah.
So I just remind those who are listening or those who are tuning in, get the right people. It's getting the right people around.
Yeah.
And 3, and this is, I say this, but I know that I'm still working on it myself. But really, man, I'm not going to swear, but back yourself. Back yourself. You've been given a gift, and sometimes it's really hard to acknowledge that you have the gift. And it can be really hard to be I can do this. But once you acknowledge that you can, it will really help propel you forward in your craft, whatever that is. So, back yourself. And it's not always going to be that way. But just, have the moment, okay, sweet, recalibrate, and go forward and know that you can, your gift is yours, and you can really gift it to someone else if you just back yourself and believe that you can do it.
Far out, man.
That's amazing advice. So
I know.
Be patient, have good people around you, and was that stay away from yes men? That was the same one.
Yeah.
And always back yourself. That's the one. Back yourself.
Some 3 very, very, very powerful advice, because I've never heard, hardly ever hear about the yes one, but it's, man, coming from an artist, you're right. You need to have someone that's shh, le mangainga pisi. I don't know about that one. Because if you don't have that person, funny thing, I'm going off of it. Funny thing, someone did that with me during a time in the podcast, and I man, I was an emotional wreck. I came to myself, I was like, man, this is not fair. Why are people saying that, you know, don't do this? And he goes, what are you doing? You know, try and stay in this lane and I really, really felt discouraged by it. But I think you really have to kind of find it deep within to accept that these people are not out there to get you. They're there so that you are giving your best. And if they keep like, you're like, nah, man, you're doing great, but really you're not.
Yeah.
They're not helping you.
Nah.
So it's accepting that. So very powerful.
It's not an easy conversation either.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the conversation that has to be had. You know?
For sure. And I think it's been very recent, I would say in the last 3 years, where I've accepted that people who often give me criticism are often the ones who care about me the most.
Yeah.
Because they're willing to tell you. You know, if they're not willing to tell you, it's just like, oh, you're just gonna watch me be a dick. Oh, sorry. Sorry. You're just gonna watch me, you know, watch me be you're just gonna watch me make a fool of myself and not say anything. So really value, you know, those people. I think that's such good advice for anyone.
Man. That's what a powerful morning, honestly, Lani. As always, you know, we've met before. We all know you on a personal level, but you are an absolute heaven-sent gem because your music, your powerful advice, man, because you could have said, oh, yeah, you know, but you didn't. You gave, man, that was powerful. Like, I'm like going, damn.
Okay, powerful.
Thank you. Once again, I know, but team, did you have anything to, any last words before we hand it over to Lani?
I've known you since 2014 when I went down to Dunedin. And like you were inspiring back then, and you're still as inspiring right now.
Amen.
I really look up to you.
Yeah.
And I hope the best, all the best for the journey ahead.
Thanks, Rush.
Yeah. Lani, my gosh. You are, sounds like we're giving eulogies.
I know. We're presenting Lani with an award this morning.
Lani, honestly, me and Lani, this guy knows I call him up when ideas are in my head and I'm working on projects. And he's like, oh, probably Hana calling again about something. When I started my first podcast, Lani was keen. You know, I was just like a girl with an idea with no resources at that time. I was using my iPhone. So I was like, Lani, can you please be a guest on my show? Let's talk about different things. And he said yes. And I was like literally a nobody. So I'm very thankful to Lani. He's always encouraging. Never negative. He's never a negative person, but I hope that spirit and energy continues through everyone that you get to share space with, and we hope to have you again soon on the show to talk about some other things that you need to get off your chest.
Episode 2, let's go.
But that's us, Pacific Morning. We hope that everything that we have shared, the powerful message by the brother Lani has shared, inspires you and continues to help you navigate through the space that you need to navigate through. And we're going to hand it over to the brother to finish off our morning with a special song.
Seki. Just before I do get into the song, and if for anyone who is listening, like if I can be of any help, like in terms of like I know a lot of young artists tend to message through and stuff, and I'm not an expert. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not an expert, but whatever I can help with, like reach out. Like, I'm more than happy. Either IG or Facebook or Twitter. Just don't text me. It's kind of weird, but
you can find him on Twitter.
I wanted to fitting, but I wanted to finish off today. Firstly, I want to dedicate this song to Sushitina Beale and the Beale family. Heaven has gained another angel today, so I just want to dedicate the song to the Beale family, and I think it's also very fitting. We're talking about me coming home. The song's called Home. So on this 1 year anniversary of me coming home, here's me singing Home. Enjoy. tonight. It's time to let my humble bones welcome me with open arms, love in sight, warm nights. I'm going home. I'm going home. For the wind it speaks my name. I will no longer be alone. And the whispers in my mind will cease. Soul release, rain free. I'm going home. So I can feel loved and be alive. I can rest among my brethren. I'll find shelter, I'll find heaven in my mother's eyes and father's voice. They'll rejoice. Elele, elele. Oh, vivi ma fa feta, Yesu ilo alo fa mai, olo alo fa ua na na, olo alo fa e tuma. Oh, vivi ma fa fetai, Yesu ilo alo fa mai, olo alo fa ua na na, olo alo fa e tuma. Headed north tonight. It's time to let my humble bones welcome me with open arms, love in sight, warm nights. I'm going home.
It's beautiful.
So beautiful.
That's
Good
us.
morning, everyone. We hope you enjoyed that beautiful song. Have a great day.
See you. Morning.